Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. In this video, it's probably going to, it's going to be a little bit more specific, being that of Sydney, and just going through their draft review, probably put a little bit of a fancy spin on it, but just in general, more for the Swans fans out there, just my general thoughts about it, given that we did have the draft over the last couple of nights. We do have the rookie draft, but I don't think there will be too much from Sydney from that point of view. They had the Hamling and Francis that they'll redraft, and also they will probably, I don't really know who their other pick they'll probably pick up, as I believe they have the list spots available to that. I'm pretty sure they went with the 36 senior list spots, which does open up to potentially other draftees, etc. Well, not draftees, but preseason draft, etc. There's some other opportunities for players to come in. David Cunningham, I think, also potentially an opportunity for him over from Carlton, but we'll see about that. But in general, you'll see probably my generalized thoughts about it. I think I definitely probably left a little bit more confident after the Andrew selection, which we'll get to, but in the end, let's just switch over to the screen over here. Giotoli, Bowman, Rice, and Andrew were the four picks that the Swans went with, and you'll see a name there that was pretty much almost an auto select, I think, for most Swans fans throughout this whole last 7-8 months. Joel Cochran did not get matched, and they went with Riak Andrew instead. And looking at it, I was a little bit disappointed to see a Sydney, a Metro Sydney player, not matched. But in the end, I think that Riak Andrew probably better suits what Sydney need than Joel Cochran. Because Joel Cochran is basically Nick Blakey, but without a kick. Effectively what he is. So to get Riak Andrew, who's more of a lockdown player, who can also intercept the ball pretty well, is a really good decision. But anyway, Jesse Giotoli picked up first. I think this is just a direct response to Wicks being out of form completely, and also the fact that Constantine just never got going at Sydney. And I think they went Jesse Giotoli, who could really get himself involved in the midfield as well. Could play on ball a little bit as well. He's done that in his time in the juniors. Playing for the Northern Knights. I think I was really impressed when looking at his actual numbers, especially here, and I think he's one that just loves footy, and I think that's a really good thing. I think also for him as well, he really does, he's really good in the air actually, which is surprising at the height that he is at 179, that he's got a really good marking capability. We see for Vic Metro in his senior year in the under 18, 7 marks, but also in his junior year, he took 3 marks in a single game. And then you can see him averaging 3 marks a game for the Northern Knights, which is really good across his 3 years, but also 3.1 tackles per game is a pretty good marker there. So we'll see what he does and if he can learn off Tom Papley, who I think is a pretty good comparison there in itself. But we'll just have to see how he goes there. But I do really like this selection, given that small forwards, we were sort of going, could play Cleary there and develop him, I guess, until he gets ready for the midfield. Could also play Campbell there. Wicks was also getting a lot of game time there. So I think this is a really good selection here just to shore up that, given that I think Wicks will be off the list next year, to be honest with you. And Hanley, I haven't really seen too much in terms of in the VFL. He hasn't really taken it by storm yet, but maybe another preseason at the Swansea and he can do that. But I think Jesse Giotoli just again brings some youth in that area, which is a good thing, given Sam Wicks is already 25, 26, and I don't think he survives the next list cut. Then we ended up drafting Ned Bowman, who there's actually some conflicting sort of things about his height. I've actually seen 185, 186, and 187. If we just go, I think it's here. Bice there, where's Sydney would have put it on there. Let's just check here. Sydney would have definitely put it on their thing last night, I would think. 1 second here. Ned Bowman, they have him 186. So I've seen, so 186, 187, somewhere in that region. Probably ends up 188, I would sort of expect. And I think this is a really good selection, even though it didn't make sense on the night in general. And I probably am it's one that's really probably going to a lot of things have got to go right for it, I guess, in a way, unless Ned Bowman is just goes on fire, because there was quite a lot of players that they could have probably selected at 26 here. If we just look at the AFL draft, all selections is going to give me what I want here. Draft order, AFL draft, national draft tracker. If we just go here and into the sort of late here, you'll have, so Ned Bowman, then you had Matt Whitlock, Tom Sims, Job Shanahan, Jack Whitlock, and Charlie Nichols, all really selected in a pick that probably Sydney could have selected in that range there. So yeah, they really had a lot of key forwards that they could have probably gone to, but I don't know if they rated the key forwards in this draft class as well. So, and you see here, he's rated 187 centimeters on the, and this was the slight confusion. He's 187, 186 already. So we'll see what he ends up being. But yeah, I really do like this selection, to be honest with you, just because it fills that hole behind Hayward, which we really lost with Warner and also Heaney being full on ballers. Yes, they do spend time up forward, but it's not enough time that you can really say that they have coverage for in case Will Hayward goes down. Will Hayward's played like 85 games or 85 games, I think, in the last 4 years out of 89. So it's really shown that, and I'm pretty sure he didn't maybe missed one game, but I don't think he missed a game last year. So let's actually check that Will Hayward stat, and this will probably just prove the point that I was trying to make here. 26 games out of, did he miss any games here? I don't think he missed any games. 26 games there makes sense, I believe, as they would have played 23 games in the regular season, plus the 3 finals. Yeah, he didn't miss a game last year. Played 23 the year before that, I believe, out of 23. Out of 24, it looks like. I think he might have missed some place. Yeah, he missed round 12 or 15, whichever was the non-bye. So the one game missed there, pretty much played out here, and then missed some games in here. But yeah, other than 4-week injury here and 1 missed game, I don't think he's missed a game all for the last couple of years, which is really has been crucial. And I think Ned Bowman just gives us something else here. I think he's definitely going to probably turn into a 188 also centimeter, 189 centimeter marking forward, and I think that's really crucial for Sydney. If you look at his strengths, probably not going to be that more contested player that you like out of sort of key forwards, which is obvious because he's a medium. But I like that he's got athleticism, speed, X factor around as well. I think the Swans just needed mobility in that sort of forward line, and I think that's what they got out of the likes of Ned Bowman. So yeah, I'm really happy about this. Yes, it might have been a little bit early, given that they said late round and rookie, but I think Cal Toomey had him around 30 range, and it was probably around the 40-45 range in terms of general prospects, I would think. I think he jumped up the board in the last couple of weeks. But yeah, I really like this pick as well. So I'm not too fussed about that. I think he can get games early on as well, which is a good thing. Then we move over to Riley Bice. And I think he's just a really... he'll be able to impact from day one, I think. And I think it's basically just a Jake Lloyd replacement, simply put. Jake Lloyd is 30 now? 31 now? Jake Lloyd. No, I want AFL. I don't want... Jake Lloyd's 31 now, going to be turning 32 in 2025, and you've got Riley Bice, who is going to be turning 25, so he is 7 years younger than the likes of Jake Lloyd. I think he's a guy that can come in straight away and really impact. He's got a good 3 or 4 centimeters on, I think at least on Jake Lloyd, as I don't think, he's got 5 or 6 centimeters on Jake Lloyd, which will be probably really helpful, given Jake Lloyd seems to always get mismatched, and that can really hurt in the Swans lineup. But yeah, I was a little bit surprised they didn't go for a Luke Kennedy at this selection. That was something that was touted, or maybe even one of the tools at this selection. If we just go back to the tracker here at 41, Riley Bice, they probably could have gone for a key forward, but to be fair, there wasn't actually too much in terms of the key forward stocks left to be honest with you, actually looking at it simply here. So I don't think it was too bad, to be honest with you. Maybe they could have gone like a Hugh Boxall or something like that, which would have been a midfielder that would have been all right. But Riley Bice, really good story, and a VFL guy, so he's been in and around the system for a while. So I think he's really primed to really help out the VFL side, but also push for AFL selection and just give some... I guess he's a direct replacement for Cooper Vickery, even though he plays a slightly different role. And you can see here another height differential difference. Rookie me 185, but that might be his rookie me. That 185 might be his under 18 year 185 rather than his now 6 years on. So yeah, we get a guy that's probably a little bit obviously a mature ager, but I really don't mind the pick. As I think he can. Impact, as well as just shore up that that what's going to happen with Jake Lloyd, etc., as well as fill that sort of spot of Cooper Vickery in the side. We still do, and one of the annoying things about Riley is the fact that he is a little bit more of that run and gun type of player, and not really. He is that flanker type of player, rather than, I mean, he's a taller flanker, but he still is sort of a flanker. And he's not that sort of contested, hard nut type of like Harry Cunningham can be and Robbie Fox type, even though they're roughly around the same-ish height. So I'm a little bit disappointed in that front that they didn't go for that, but I don't think there was many of those type of defenders really in the draft class left at that point. To be honest with you, just looking here, quickly, Angus Clark had already gone, so... I'm pretty sure Angus Clark had already gone. He'd already gone, who was probably that guy that you could probably lean on there. And the only other one was even up top here at 19 with Harrison Oliver. That was about it for the sort of medium to smallish sort of combative defenders in this draft class from memory, from talking to people about it. So it was more of a midfield and a key position draft, to be honest with you, than the medium-sized players that we went for, which is quite surprising. And then obviously you had the Joel Cochran not bidding on him, or not matching him, sorry. It is intriguing. First, I believe I'm right in saying this, first Metro player from Sydney to not be on the on one of the Sydney lists, both Sydney and GWS, since Jared Witts back in 2013, 2012, somewhere around there, Jared Witts. So it is a long time coming. I think it's also really good for the game that we've got academy players not necessarily going to Sydney. I would have liked to have had him, obviously, and it was something that I sort of pigeonholed in. But at the end of the day, like I was saying earlier, I think that Rick Andrew, a year older than Joel Cochran, 6 months older than Joel Cochran, I think. 3 months older, 3 and a bit months older than Joel Cochran. I don't think that that's too bad, to be honest with you. I think it's an alright selection there, and I think that he'll do pretty well. And I also think that he probably gives us different attributes to what Joel Cochran was and going to give. And I think he's more of a lockdown player compared to Joel, which I think is something that Sydney want, given that we sort of have Paddy Snell, we sort of have Nick Blakey, that is that interceptor, and we want lockdown players next to him, I think, so that would be better, rather than sort of guys that are allergic to one-on-ones. Not naming a name or abouts. Then the last guy, I guess, to talk about in general, just on itself, is Riak Andrew. Sorry, I'm going to probably mispronounce that multiple times. But yeah, I really like that he's got versatility, as well as the fact that he really showed in the latter half of the season that he is a really good lockdown player. And showed later on in the year that he really did develop across the year. He held and he really, looking at the Craft of the Draft interview for a little bit, I did really like how he's a guy that does really look at the ways to improve and really does take ownership of his craft, and really, I think isn't afraid to admit when he makes a mistake. Like he said, something along the lines of his positioning against Job Shanahan just completely stuffed him over the first couple games. But as he was playing like in front of him, and then he just decided to play sort of back shoulder to take away that sort of ability of Job Shanahan to sort of just push him off, and that really did help him. I think also him He's got really, as it says here, good athleticism, so he's able to get the spoils in. But yeah, I'm intrigued about this selection. I think he has really, as it says here, rawness, and I think he can, if he can put on some kilos in a preseason or two, I think he genuinely could be a really good lockdown defender. He probably won't grow anymore, given that he is slightly older than some of the other prospects. Maybe gets up to 194, 195 as well. But still, I really do like this selection. I know Swans fans probably would have wanted that really beefy defender. But we do have that in Will Edwards, who is 197 and 100 kilos or so. So we do have that. We have Paddy Snell, who's linked more towards that sort of Dane Rampy size. Position, I should say. So Rick Andrew naturally sort of gets that Tommy McCartan sort of a little bit hybrid intercept / lockdown type of player. And I think that sort of fits that mold pretty well. If we go to Tom McCartan's profile, you'll see I think he's in and around that, 194 centimeters. Only 24 as well, for those people thinking that we already need to move him on. No, he's only 24 and he's been in the system for 7 years. Wow. But yeah, so I do like those selections in the end. I probably would have liked to have seen maybe a key forward picked. But if you look at it, there wasn't. Other than that Ned Bowman pick, who he didn't, I don't think he would have survived till 40. So, I don't think there was only one position we really could have taken a key forward. And that would have been at 26. Maybe they should have gone Shanahan there, and then maybe a Hamish Davies or a Davis or a Archer Day Wicks at 40 instead of Riley Bice would have been my ideal draft. But in the end, we got the sort of medium defender that I sort of talked about. Maybe not necessarily the mold of the role of the key defender, medium defender that I wanted. We got the medium forward that I wanted, and the type of role that I wanted as well, like a marking medium forward. Got a small, and we sort of talked about that, especially with downsizing the forward line. So that was something we talked about, or at least I was sort of mentioning on social media, etc. And we got the tall defender. Wasn't the exact tall defender that we were necessarily penciling in, but was in general a pretty good defender that I think can fill a role that might be needed in the next couple of years. But anyway, I think that's a good place to end the video there. My thoughts on Sydney's national draft. We obviously have the rookie draft, which Sydney will be redrafting Francis and Hamling, and then also, I believe, probably taking one stab if they do. I don't know the exact rulings behind it, but I'm pretty sure they'll take one stab here at it. But anyway, that is the video. If you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, turn the notification bell on if you're on YouTube, and if you're on Spotify, remember to follow me on there so that you know when I upload. And if you want to see more of my sort of in-depth thoughts or just outside of YouTube videos, follow me on Twitter at KB Sports Fantasy, and my other Twitter, I think it's Kyroom35, I think it is. But anyway, I will see you guys in the next video, which will be Sunday. I think it'll be back to BBL at this point. I don't think there's any more AFL content yet. I don't think until about December 20th or so, until I sort of get all that organized, etc. But we'll see about that. Anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.